All right, so this week, right, so we meet every Wednesday from 6 to 9:30, and this will be the last of the presentations that we have from the different services at Harper. So when we get in here at 6, 6:05, 6:10, that's typically when we're going to get started, and we'll go through our list of objectives for the night. So this module, which is Module 1, which, by the way, you cannot access unless you've completed the orientation assignments. There's 4 of them. So if you have not completed all 4 of them, then you will not be able to access Module 1, nor will you be able to access the project submission, that is the topic approval, right? So you have to get that done first. All right, so tonight, or Module 1 is the Internet Basics and Web Basics. This is really an overview of the Internet and the web, right? The evolution, how it got started, what are some of the terms and technologies that are being used on the web. It's a very broad overview. Think of it as an umbrella, right, that just kind of has a whole bunch of stuff underneath it, and it's a very generic. Only toward the end of the first chapter is when we actually do a little bit of coding, right? And that gets you prepared for Chapter 2, because that's when we actually hit the keyboards hard, right? And most of the class will be taken up by hands-on coding. Does that sound good? All right, fantastic. All right, I'd like to, tonight, look at the orientation. That is, review it, just to see if you have any questions about the orientation, the assignments that were provided. I would also like to go over the orientation questions if you have any. Not everyone got 100% on the orientation quiz. Even though you can take it over and over again, some people decided, well, you know, 1 right is good enough, okay? But the thing is that that quiz is really a contract between you and I. That is, it makes me know that you've read the syllabus, you understand the syllabus, and then we're both on the same page, right? Good. So I'd just go over the quiz a little bit. I would like to go over Module 1, that is the overview of the module itself, making sure you understand what the assignments are, what it covers in general, right, and the different parts of Module 1, just so you're comfortable. Because every module going forward will look somewhat the same. That is, the layout of the module will look the same, and I hope you become comfortable with that. Okay. Chapter 1 overview, that's like a slideshow, a reduced slideshow of the chapter. Okay. The author provides a full-blown slideshow or PowerPoint presentation. She calls it a key concepts, right? Well, I really don't want to spend class time going over slides, and I hope that you would agree. However, in some cases, I'd like to go over some of the high points, right? Important stuff, just so you can hear some of the terms, and then we get into the nitty-gritty about it, right? We start to code. So typically, the overviews are very short, somewhere between 10 to 15 slides, which is not too bad at all, I think, comparatively speaking, because the full-blown ones are somewhere between like 20, 30, and sometimes 40 slides. I definitely don't want to go over 40 slides in the classroom. You could do that on your own, okay? All right, then we're going to look at hosting overview. I'd like to go over a little bit and review what we covered, I think, a little bit in the orientation, and that is talking about hosting and how important that is and where you can find a host. I want to go over again the project overview. Again, we know we talked about this in the orientation, but the project is so important, I'd like to go over it again, okay, and see if maybe you have more questions. A little bit on Mac versus Windows versus Linux. We got an in-class activity that I'm excited to do, and then we're going to do a little bit of hands-on, right? Just get our feet wet a little bit with what HTML actually is. Does that outline sound good? Okay, good. Because even if you didn't like it, I'm going to do this. All right. All right, let's go over the orientation review. So let me bring up Blackboard, and let's go to the orientation. All right, the purpose really of the course orientations was to get you comfortable and oriented, I suppose, to Blackboard, the course, make you decide whether this is the course you wanted, and that what you expect out of the course is what you're going to get, and you understand my expectations of you. You had 4 assignments, a DQ, a lab, a quiz, and a survey to get you comfortable with how to use Blackboard. Not everyone knows how to use Blackboard, so this is a chance for you to either brush up on your skills or to learn those skills. The objectives are there. Mostly it's really the syllabus and the calendar that I really wanted you to go over. And then, of course, take a look at the companion website. for the course, right? For the book, that is. Okay? So you had some readings, syllabus, calendar. I provided a link to an orientation for Blackboard in case you didn't know how to use it. There was some tutorials there. And then, of course, the companion website of the book that we're working with. So this is the companion website of the book. This is the homepage of that companion website. Each chapter has its own page that provides more information, supplemental, extra, right, to what's already in the book. So in this case, chapter 1 has additional, right, resources and links for things that are being talked about in the chapter. Okay? Now, what's really important in every single chapter that is in the companion website are the chapter updates, which are at the bottom. Okay? The book gets printed, right? And unfortunately, sometimes there's mistakes. They forget a period, they forget a piece of code, they forget to cross the T, dot the I. Whatever the issue is, sometimes the editors don't catch it, right? So the update is for you, whether you have a digital version or a physical version, right? A paper version, update that book. It should be the first thing you do every chapter. You go there, update your book and what pages it tells you to, and now you'll be reading it one time and not have to read the chapter, realize there's updates, go back to the chapter, make the update changes, and then try to rememorize, right, or relearn what you learned already once but was incorrect. Right? So we don't want to do that. We only want to do it one time. Okay? So as a suggestion, I would recommend doing that. Every module, first thing you do. Okay? Great. All right, so discussion question. Any issues, problems, questions with the discussion? Yes. I think there's some options. You can do like a collapse, I believe, which collapses everything, and then you can find your name and expand it. I think that might be the only option that is there. So, any other questions? Yeah, Rudy. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there's 60-something people in this. Yeah, you can respond to someone who's not in not in this particular section of the class, right? Yeah, absolutely. Which is great because now you have 60 different ideas, right? That perhaps might want to respond to. What is the minimum number of responses you have to have? Okay, and how many days? 3, right? So it's 3 and 3. 3 responses on 3 different days. 1 response goes to me by the due date, of course, the initial response, and then 2 responses on 2 different days to 2 different students. Okay. Remember, this is a discussion board, not simply a one-way street where you do everything in one day and then you're done. We want people to come back, and this gets you back into Blackboard to check and do other things that we need to do. Yeah, Christina. Absolutely, yeah. That's a great question. The orientation assignments have no value. Point value, that is, right? So everybody gets 0 points for all the assignments in the orientation. It's simply to get you to do them and get comfortable. Going forward, though, of course, right? And if you've been to the grade book, you probably see that it says 0 out of, right, a certain amount, while the orientation says 0 out of 0. Oh. Oh, just the orientation then, yeah. So I think the check mark just simply, I think I may have set that says you've completed it as opposed to seeing an actual number there. So yeah, okay, very good. All right, yeah, so it's only for the orientation. All right, the lab, orientation lab, answer some questions, gives me an idea of what you're looking for, what you want to get out of the class, how much time you have. That's going to be the important part. 9 to 12 hours minimum for this course, right? That includes the classroom. So if you do come to the classroom, or if you don't, doesn't matter. If you come to the classroom, the 9 to 12 hours is part of the classroom. If you don't come, well, then you'll have to add right? It's still 9 to 12 hours, regardless of whether you come to the classroom or not. Okay. Any questions about the lab? Just a reminder, please use the submission box, not the comment box. Yep. So there's right, which is not the right box that we want to type in. That's the comment box. But underneath it, or next to it, it says submission box. It's a button. You click on that, and that opens up. That's the one you want to type in. Oh, attach. Okay. So it's the comment box, a button, to submission box, and then the attach button, I believe. Something like that's the order, I believe. So you're gonna, yeah, you actually physically have to click another button to get that open, right? Now, do we know why we want to use the submission box and not the comment box? Does that make? Yeah. So two things. One, you get more opportunity to customize your reply to me, right? Your submission. So if you want bullet points or whatever it may be, you get to do that. Secondly, well, if you put the information you want to submit, your work, in the comment box, regardless of whether you use multiple lines or multiple spaces, I just get one big jumbled paragraph. And I can't really, it's very difficult for me to read anything if you've created multiple paragraphs, right? So just want to make sure we're okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Everything goes in this. That is correct. I do not want anybody to use the comment box. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So just don't use it, right? Act like it doesn't exist. All right. So we good with the labs? All right, the quiz. What do you think of the quiz? Any questions, any issues? All right, I think it was like 11 questions, I believe. Your other quizzes, the module 1 through the rest of this course, has 10 questions. Okay? And 10 minutes to take it, just like the orientation. However, you won't be able to take it more than once. The orientation, you were able to take it as many times as you want. Module 1 and going forward, only one time. So please be prepared to take the quiz when you click on quiz. Okay? Because if you don't, then you don't get another chance. Okay. All right, what about the survey? Any questions about the survey? How many of you actually read the survey results that I announced? Yeah, some of that's pretty interesting, right? Yeah. Yep. Everybody seems to be using Internet Explorer or Opera. Yikes. 2 people are using Edge in this class. Or one of the browsers that they'll be using is Edge. They must have Windows 10. Who has Windows 10? All right. Okay. So Windows 10 no longer is an IE, Internet Explorer. Windows 10 uses Edge, Microsoft's new browser name. All right. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for the orientation module? Okay. All right, so it looks like we completed this one.